me get more time, let me get more time. Give me one more try, give me one more try. No, I was lucky you were gone. Yeah, you can free your mind, you can free your mind. Got no more ties, got no more ties. All for you, just got me all from you. I pull myself only barely halfway.
Hey everybody, it's Jack from Atlantis Water Gardens. Today we're in Atlantic Highlands, New Jersey. We're gonna be building a pretty interesting water feature in the back corner of this yard. They used to have a pond here with a couple urns and stuff in the side of it. That's been taken out and they installed a koi pond. So this is almost like an outdoor fish tank. It's huge, it's 6 feet deep. He's got some giant koi in there. I'll show you those later. But he wanted something more naturalistic and even maybe a little bit over the top to look at in the back, because this pretty rectangular, it's got a very clean look to it. He's like, I want something in the back that's inspiring. So we're gonna do something with some boulders, some urns, a bowl. There's even a piece back here that I want to repurpose. You got this custom stone planter. It's all stacked stone in there, and on top it's got this bowl. We're gonna take all the plant life out of there and we're gonna plumb this. We're gonna have water coming out of it. Haven't decided exactly what I'm gonna do with it yet, but we're gonna take it and move it over to this side of the yard, in between the shrubs here and the Rose of Sharon. So that's gonna be over here. So from the deck, you'll see that from this spot here, kind of like a little separate, nice, tranquil water feature. It's gonna go into a stream, a couple little cascades working its way down to a reservoir right about where the machine is. We're gonna be installing a 500-gallon reservoir here using these large aqua blocks along with a pump vault. We'll get that in the ground here. Then we're gonna start forming out this custom fountainscape. I've got kind of a loose idea on what I wanna do with this, but really it's gonna come down to, once the reservoir is installed, we're gonna take those pieces. We've got 4 of the urns, kind of position them, see how we like it, look what the sight line is from the house, and then we're gonna see how we can fit boulders around them, maybe even create some cascades, have a lot of fun with it. This is gonna be a really interesting water feature when it's finished. First thing we're gonna do is get that reservoir laid out, installed, then we can start the fun stuff.
I look down, there's nothing left. I'm missing you. I'm missing you. Couldn't hold it all myself. I look down, there's nothing left. I'm missing you. I'm missing you. Oh.
We're down here close to the Jersey Shore, and it should be easy digging. It's all sand here, shouldn't be anything in the way except all these pipes. These are all drainage pipes for stormwater. Some are ground drainage for in the area, some are coming from the leaders on the house. They're going right through the middle of our excavation. So that means we're gonna have to dig back outside, do some reconnections and some diversion to get those pipes around and reconnect back to the outflow, because it just flows off site in case there's a rain event. Working in backyards, you really just don't know what you're gonna run into sometimes. Along with that, we've also got the irrigation line right along the edge. I think we could skirt that and get around it, but those drainage pipes are directly smack in the middle of where we gotta be. When you're starting any excavation, you should call for a mark out if you think utilities are in the area. Something like this, they wouldn't find. This is all like personal stuff that's done by the homeowners or by a landscaper. So you just kind of run into these things and then have fun trying to make it so you can do your job. No big deal. We'll get this handled and get our reservoir installed. These custom fountainscapes is something we've been kind of, I guess, known for over the last few years, because I think I'm the only one crazy enough to start cutting holes into a $2,000 piece of decorative fountainscape. So we got a big hole right here. You guys watched me cut that in and fit this wall in here. What I want to have happen is by the time it's done, that wall rests right inside this opening and it starts to look like one whole piece, like together. What we're doing now is we've got 2 sections of wall that are going to come together. Now these are hollow, just fiber stone on the outside, not a lot of weight to it. I mean, one person can pick it up easily. So what I got to make sure is this thing stays structural. I want to bolt these 2 together. Now if I just put bolts in here holding these 2 pieces of fiber stone together, it would probably crack and come apart. What we're doing is taking a batten strip like this, it's aluminum. I'm using aluminum and stainless steel. I don't want this stuff to break down into the water, so I've got one on each side. I'm bolting together, and the pressure is gonna be on these pieces of flat bar. It's gonna hold this whole thing together, and then we're gonna be inside the urn. Once this is all in place in our fountainscape, we're gonna fill this mostly with gravel. That's gonna provide ballast. It's not gonna go anywhere. We're gonna make sure it's super level when it goes in there, and then the ballast is gonna keep it in place. So it's important, like if you're thinking about doing something like this, think about the structure of it, because you don't want to have it all in place and it looks amazing and a year later it's falling to pieces. So doing these kind of things is definitely going to help with longevity on this thing, and it's going to last for a very long time.
Now we got one cohesive piece of stacked slate wall.
Oh yeah, that'll do it.
Ain't going nowhere.
All right, we really got the start of something going on here. We got those two walls and the large urn that I cut in together. You can see what that looks like now. Look at that joint. Looks like one piece. One to putting a bead of foam inside here just to mask all that. And inside you can see we started leveling up this urn. And what I'm doing here is, since we're not worried about flowing water off the backside of this because that's not a viewing area, we're actually gonna pitch this forward just slightly. And we're gonna have it level side to side. So now most of our water is all gonna be focused here, coming off the front and the sides. We really won't get a whole lot off the back. Actually, when we put the top on, I might actually put a bead of foam back there just to prevent water from really going back that way. We do have liner back behind here, but it's gonna be wasted water going back there. I'd rather use that volume out in the front to really give a great presentation for this big urn. On the right side, we took the lower two sections of a large urn and actually we cut it in around this side. So this will get filled up with gravel. We're gonna have a pipe in here. We'll end up bibbing this so we can get a pool of water in here. And then I'm gonna cut some slots in this. So we'll get nice ribbon waterfalls coming down like here, probably something coming down this way. We incorporated a piece of driftwood that John had. That looks pretty awesome. And you can see we've already set one rock to give it some structure back behind it. So we're gonna have rocks in this whole surround, and out in front, we're gonna have some waterfalls that come off the volume of this water. There'll be a lot of action in this entire space. What I gotta do over here is do some foaming. I'm gonna foam this whole joint right here, close that all up. Then we go through and start doing all the labyrinth of plumbing. We gotta get plumbing in here, all these holes in the top of the walls, plumbing inside here. We need plumbing in this medium urn off to the right. And then we're gonna have a patio bowl over here. And we've got that other piece that we drilled out. We're gonna be plumbing that, and that'll be up at the top of our stream area. All in all, we're gonna run two pumps here, a SLD 5 to 9 and a 4 to 7. So we'll be moving quite a lot of water through all these different bits of plumbing. And we're gonna have to do some valving to control like how much water is going to each one. So once we get into that, it tends to get a little bit more complicated. But it's just a matter of thinking about like, how do I get water to these spots, and then what makes the most sense, and how's it gonna work functionally for long term. We gotta worry about freezing here in North Jersey, so this will probably end up having to get blown out with a big compressor in the wintertime, so we get all that water out of the lines and then it'll get covered. But what I wanna get going today is placing some of the rock work around here to start bringing this whole thing out and really making it look like it was built into all that rock work. Let's get it rolling. We got a lot of guys crowded into a small space here because there is a lot to do when it comes to something like this. We got to make sure we get water flowing out of all of these different fountainscape pieces, as well as building waterfalls with rock work in between it all. This is the lower two sections of a large urn. We want water to be spilling out of this. So in order for that to happen, I'm actually gonna cut a notch here. I'm gonna cut a notch there. That will spill into a pooling area there where Boulevard's working. This will spill over this log into this little pocket right here, which is gonna be a super awesome effect. There'll be a light down here highlighting that cascade. It's just gonna be amazing. All the different ribbon waterfalls and different types of water splashing that's gonna be happening here. But in order to get that water here, we've got to get plumbing inside. So what we did was we actually drilled a hole inside of this. And if you look back here, there's all kinds of plumbing sticking out. We're going to be creating manifolds back there from our two pumps, feeding all this water in. Then we're going to just disperse it to all these various areas. We're talking probably 10 to 15 different areas we have to go to with this water. We got this 2-inch pipe coming up vertical inside here. In order for this to actually pool up water like we want it to and to come out where these spillways are going to be, we're going to have to do what's called a bib liner. So that's serving two purposes. Number one, it's ballast to hold this entire fountain in place. Number two, we're bringing it up to the level that we need. So we're going to come up maybe another couple inches. You can see here's the top of the urn. We're down maybe 8 inches from the top. So what we'll do is we'll get this gravel all leveled out in here real nice. Then we're going to take and foam a piece of fabric in here. That's going to create a barrier. So basically what's going to happen is once we have this water running and the pipe is filling up in here, it's going to stop it from going down further and let it well up in here and go out those areas that we're going to cut out. This particular one, I don't want water bubbling out of the top. So I might take a piece of an aqua block, put it in here, cut the pipe down, and then cover it all with gravel just to make it sure that it comes out nice and calm from the pipe and then flows out those different spills. The walls is a different story. We've got individual pipes coming out of each one. And we're also doing 1-watt lights for each individual jet. So every column of water coming out the top of that wall, once those pipes get cut down, you're gonna see every single column of water, as well as lighting down here. There's gonna be lights everywhere. And when it all comes together, it's gonna be just magnificent. Come on back for the next episode. We are going to finish this. I promise you it's gonna be worth coming back, because when we turn this on, there's gonna be so much action. It's gonna blow your mind, I'm telling you. Hit me up in the comments. Tell me what you think about where we're at so far. Tell me about the projects you're working on. Share this with your friends. See you on the next one.